Good morning, sir, and welcome to the Business Standard Morning Show.
Good morning.
Firstly, can you give us your outlook for the markets currently? How long do you think the volatility may continue? And do you think the Indian markets are still overvalued?
We had seen a sustained rise in equity market from COVID lows in early April till about October last year. And from there on, we have been moving sideways. Over the last few months, we have seen FI outflows of about $30 billion. In fact, this time around, we indeed had an episode of geopolitical risk. So we have had to contend with that. We had to contend with higher commodity prices. We had to contend with Fed rate hike. But despite that, I would admit that the markets have held relatively well. Lately, we have seen some kind of a tapering off in FI outflows. And if it stabilizes at some point of time, hopefully, we should have lower volatility in the market. Apart from market, let's look at where the economy is. And on that side, India seems to be in a good place. On a valuation perspective, given the last 6 months, markets have not gone anywhere. Valuations have become slightly better. They are now at average of the last 5 years. So if you are earning out from a medium-term perspective seems decent. So near term in the next few months, given the geopolitical risk that you see, high commodity prices that you see, there could be a little bit of sideways movement.
So the merger has come into effect after more than 2 years. So what do you see as the strengths of this merged entity and what vision or goals do you have for it?
What this merger does is brings along the strength of two large institutions which are backing it. So on one hand, you have Bank of Baroda, which is a large national bank, very good understanding of retail market, very large network, as well as a very well-recognized brand in India. On the other hand, you have BNP Paribas Asset Management, which is one of the global leaders and certainly a leader in Europe in asset management. Their processes, their risk management processes, their investment processes, all of that. So what you bring together is the strength of two organizations which are very complementary. So this is in a way a reset point in the life of the asset management company, and we should be looking to grow significantly from it.
Post-merger, what does your new product pipeline look like? Which category or subcategory? Where are you seeing opportunities ahead?
So in terms of the product pipeline, as we merge, our existing product pipeline becomes stronger. So as of today, we have 28 schemes across equity, fixed income, and hybrid category. There are a few product gaps that we have in our portfolio, and that's something that we would look to bridge over a period of next 6 to 12 months.
But inflows into index funds were almost 5,000 crore in January, a new record, although it's very minuscule of the total asset management industry. So are you planning to enter the space or are you leaving that to other players and focus on just your active schemes?
Interesting questions. And I think passive market has actually seen disproportionate growth. And very frankly, this 5,000 crore number last month is not a standalone. We have seen a huge trend in favor of passive over the last few years. That's an area that we are watching with interest. We are at this point of time primarily an active manager, and we do believe our fund managers create alpha in active funds. Having said that, given the fact that we are seeing a lot of interest coming in the passive, that's an area that we are watching with interest, and we would certainly be looking at it over a period of time.
Post this merger, would you consider yourself as a new mutual fund company, number one? And second, so several other new players are entering the space. Some examples are Navi, Zerodha, Capital Mind, etc. So is there scope for everyone to grow in this asset management industry in India? And how do you plan to compete against both incumbents as well as the new players?
So as we come together, I think what differentiates us from some of the other names that you took is the fact that we are backed by very solid institutions with a very strong long-term legacy. So Bank of Baroda has been around in India now for more than 110 years. Similarly, BNP Paribas Bank has been around in India for more than 160 years. So that gives us very strong solidity on day one. Having said that, we are a new entity. And in that sense, we would have the energy of a startup because as Baroda BNP Mutual Fund, we have taken birth only on 14th of March. So we would have an energy of startup, but at the same time, solidity of two strong financial powerhouses behind us. I think mutual funds, all said and done, are yet very underpenetrated. Income tax PAN holders in India are close to 50 crores. Against that, the number of total investors, unique investors in mutual fund would be between 2.5 to 3 crores. So we are yet very, very underpenetrated. Mutual funds are owned by less than 2% of population of this country. 98% have not yet invested. So in terms of the scope for growth for the market, it's huge. There is scope for everybody to grow in this market. Market will accommodate a lot more players. You need to be nimble-footed to be able to reach out to the investors and win their trust.
I also want to ask, do you foresee further consolidations in this industry?
I think that's a trend that we have seen over a period of time. See, this is a business of scale. At the end of the day, with the same investment team, you could manage a larger pool of assets, because at the end of the day, you are allocating money across different stocks and different sectors. So to that extent, this is an industry which lends itself well for consolidation as well as growth. So that's an area that I would see continued action in India. There are times when the industry goes through a tough phase, and then there's a consolidation which is forced because, however, in the current environment, I would think these will be more growth acquisitions that you would probably see in the industry, as well as entry of new players as you're already witnessing.
Thank you, sir. That's all the questions I had.
Wonderful. Great talking to you, Krishna. Thank you so very much.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.